David with Wilderness Education, reviewing the excellent Ruger 1022 .22 long rifle rimfire carbine. Now you're thinking two things at the moment, guys. You're thinking, oh god, not another Ruger 1022 review. It is true, there's a lot of them out there on the internet. There's some really good Ruger 1022 reviews out on the internet. But the way this review is going to maybe differ slightly is I'm actually going to show you how I use this rifle. And the purposes that I use it for. The second thing that you're probably wondering is, hold on, you've got a Scottish accent. What are you doing with a rifle? You must be in the UK. That is true, I am in the UK. And rifles like these are legal to own if you have the appropriate licenses issued to you by the police. I have a license for this, is why I can legally own this, and I'm able to do a review on it for you. So let's get started. First things first, let's make sure that the rifle's safe, and we do that by making sure that the safety catch is applied. The rifle is pointed in a safe direction. Nothing is going to get hurt if I shoot it in that direction. We want to pop the magazine out of the rifle and make sure that it is empty. And we hold the bolt to the rear and we visually inspect the chamber to make sure that there is no round in the chamber. Don't just take it for granted because no round was ejected that the rifle is empty. Always make sure visually that the rifle is empty. As the rifle safe, it is clear of ammunition and we can work with it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run down a little bit on the specs of this rifle, and then I'll go on to sort of the pros and cons of it and how I actually use this rifle. The rifle is chambered in .22 long rifle. It utilises either high velocity ammunition, hyper velocity ammunition, but it will also shoot subsonic ammunition reliably. At least this rifle does. It is a semi-automatic blowback design. That means that the force of the recoil and inertia of the cartridge going backwards as the bullet's being fired forwards cycles the bolt, and the bolt is pushed back, and that cocks the hammer inside the action, and it also compresses a recoil spring. When it's at the rearward most of its travel, that recoil spring then pushes the bolt forward, which strips a round from the magazine and feeds it into the chamber. The rifle is then cocked with a live round in the chamber and it is ready to be fired again. When you pull the trigger, the process is repeated. It is a semi-automatic design. The rifle weighs about 5 pounds. That's a shade over, it's about 2.5 kilos, 2.3 kilos. Basically, the rifle weighs about the same as 2 bags of sugar. That is without the scope and rails. It's just the plain rifle with iron sights on its own. In terms of rimfires, it's pretty much as light as they come. The Remington 597 is a semi-automatic design. It weighs in at about 5.5 to 6 pounds. A very popular design in the UK is the CZ bolt action. It's a very common .22 rifle and it weighs in at about 6.5 pounds. So as rimfires I should say go, it's very very light. This is the all-weather stainless steel synthetic model that I'm reviewing, and it comes with a 18-inch barrel. The total length from the muzzle to the stock is about 37 inches. The barrel is 18 inches. The rifle comes equipped with flip-up iron sights, which are elevation adjustable only. If you want to adjust it for windage, you actually have to drift the whole sight unit over in the dovetail. The rifle is also equipped with a front blade style front sight. It's not got a protective hoop on it like you see on some other rifles. It's just a simple blade with a little brass bead on it just for an increase in visibility. The rifle is fed from a 10-round rotary magazine, which is quite unusual in the firearms world. Most firearms utilise a box magazine. When you load the rounds in, the rounds are held under tension by a spring and they're fed round the body of the rotary magazine, and then as you're firing it, they're pushed under pressure back round to the feed lips. It's a very reliable design. You can see that this is the clear plastic version, which is a really good idea because you can actually flip the rifle over and have a look at it and see how many rounds you've got left. You also get the black version. There are 5-shot rotary magazines available in for jurisdictions where 10 shots are not allowed. You can get 5-shot rotaries. The rifle has a cross bolt safety in front of the trigger guard here, and it's got a good feeling to it. It's quite stiff. It's not going to come off easily. You've got to give it a good push. The only thing that I don't like about it is that click sound. It's not good in a hunting situation where you might have spent an age stocking up on an animal and you go to flick off your safety and there's that metallic click which will scare anything off. In the safety off position, there is a red line here to indicate that the rifle is with the safety off and is ready to fire. The trigger is quite stiff. I don't know of the exact poundage. I'm gonna guess at about 5 pounds. It's quite stiff. It's a single stage trigger. There's a little bit of creep before it takes up the tension, but I wouldn't consider this a 2-stage trigger. It's a single stage trigger, and it's adequate. It's not very crisp. There are trigger units to upgrade the trigger and make it crisper. The TMH, the trigger mechanism housing on new Rugers, are made from plastic. This is an old style Ruger, so it's got a metal trigger housing, but the new Rugers have a plastic trigger housing. Don't know what the wisdom is behind that. I think they should have kept it metal, but it will lighten the rifle up somewhat. Maybe it's to keep the price down, I don't know, but there are replacement triggers available from, I think, Vol Quatterson. They make a replacement trigger unit. Here in the UK, also a company called Rimfire Magic produce their own Ruger 1022 trigger units. The rifle is attached only by one mounting point. The receiver is screwed down by one screw only. Most firearms designs have 2 screws, one at the rear of the trigger guard and one at the front of the magazine well. This only has it at the front of the magazine well. But it doesn't affect performance that much because this is a very light recoiling rifle. If it was a centerfire rifle, that wouldn't do. You would want a second mounting point at the rear of the trigger guard to make sure that that action is secure in the stock. The rifle is also equipped with a barrel band which clamps down the barrel against the stock, so this is not a free floating barrel. The deluxe versions and the target versions don't have this barrel band, but the standard models come with a barrel band. This stock has a molded this rifle has a molded plastic stock. It's relatively light. It's pretty strong. It's not amazing. The fit is not awesome. It's not like a centerfire rifle where the tolerance of the fit will be very, very tight so the action doesn't move around during recoiling. You can bed these rifles to make them more accurate.